Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. I am your resident spiritual life coach, Karen Slack. I have a passion for guided meditation, energy work, intuitive contemplation, and a little EFT tapping thrown in there. I think we each carry a unique light and energy about us, and we get to visit with that and get to know it and nurture it and heal it and use it in living our best life with our best self and our best energy. There is a beautiful wholeness to spiritual and energetic self-care that I'm excited to introduce you to a little bit. Um, Thank you for your patience. It's been a bit since I have been back here for the podcast. With the holidays, things got busy and the podcast kind of sat on the back burner for a little bit. So thank you for being patient as I get another episode out to everybody. And we are now in the week. I heard somebody coin it as the week that time forgot, the week between Christmas and New Year's. And it is such a transitional week and the energy feels different this week. And I have a few ideas as to why. So I thought that's what we'd talk today. Before we get started in our conversation, I have a deck with me. It's the Ina Segal Secret Language of Color Guard deck. We might pull a card later today. And I am hanging out with my clear quartz crystal to help me share clearly what I want to share with you. And I'm wearing some hematite, a little hematite meditation necklace to help me stay grounded and use that within my affirmation work around the day. These are my tools that help to honor the way I want to communicate myself energetically and spiritually. How about you? What are your tools? Let me know. Either share in the comments or reach out on social media or send me a message. Um, so we get to this time of year between Christmas and New Year's, between holidays and the New Year holiday. However you celebrate the holiday season, whether it's Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or any of the other holidays that are out there, it always feels like there's this week between those holidays that feels different and it feels almost a little odd. And I have some notions about that. Um, so many of us, for so many of us, the holiday brings a lot of extras. And we've been talking about these extras and how we get to allow these extras to be beautiful and exciting and how we get to choose the extras that work for us and say no when we need to. And we get to honor our energy through that process. Um, and a lot of these extra things that are going on are happening amongst the day-to-day life, which is great. And at the same time, it also requires a lot of a shift in focus for us. We put our whole self into this holiday season. We put our whole self into being present and being there and doing the things and getting the things and often we can kind of lose ourselves into that. Some of us can lose ourselves into that. And when that happens, we get past a holiday and it's like we're taking a deep breath. And it feels like this whole week is us just taking a deep breath. And our body's a little off, and our mind's a little off, and our emotions are a little off, and our energy's a little off. And I feel like when we get stuck in that loop, it's good for us to pick up some meditations that help to ground our energy back into our body. Pick up some intention pieces and intentions in life to ground ourselves back into the body. The intentions like I am safe, I am grounded, I release the excess, I am aware of myself, I am balanced, I flow with life. Those are good reminders for this week to help give us permission to get back into the flow of life and to ground ourselves into reality. So many people this week feel the urge to take down the Christmas decorations, reorganize their spaces. I think that's a way for us to reestablish grounded energy within our life. And for instance, in our house yesterday, we had an overhaul of 3 bedrooms. I went through and cleaned and rearranged my room. We are in here recording the podcast at the table that I brought in to have here. And we then overhauled and cleaned out my little one's bedroom. And then the spark got ignited in the older one's bedroom. And she started going through and cleaning her room. So it was really a great reestablishment of our spaces. Like we were taking back our spaces and we were taking back those locations that felt we could have that cozy connection with our space again. So I think that often when we're taking down our Christmas decorations and we're cleaning everything out, that's one of the things that we're doing. We're looking to reestablish our energy in our home spaces and into those spaces we spend the most time and into those spaces that honor our day-to-day life process. But one of the things also that I think we forget that I felt more aware of this year is simply the energy of December. If we were to set all the holiday stuff aside and we were to set all of the expectations and the to-dos and what have you for the holidays aside, December comes with its own energy. And I think we often misjudge that energy or discredit that notion of the end of the year. When we get to the end of the year, when we get to December, it's a completion of another year. And it feels like a culmination of a year. And we look at December and it kind of comes in with this notion of, okay, we're going to culminate and we're going to finish and we're going to complete this year. And with that, sometimes that sense of ending can come with a tension and a reflection and a release process. It's like we're going through a process of releasing this year. We are releasing the expectations that we've carried through the year. We're releasing that notion of the busyness that we've held through the year. And we're letting go of and shedding the energy from the year. And sometimes like this year was packed with a lot of shifts for a lot of people. There was some emotions that came up. We moved through some of that shadowy inner work that's hanging out that was no longer resonating with us that we got to heal and grow through. We faced some beliefs within ourselves that we didn't know were hanging out there. So there is definitely some release energy that happens in December that we don't realize is subtly working underneath the surface. So when you compile the energy of the completion of a year and that release and completion energy that we're feeling and working through, along with the hustle and bustle of the holidays, it can put a lot of a lot of stuff into December. And it's not all bad. It can be good. It can be good to reach the end of the year and to look back and reflect on who we were and what we learned and what we grew, and we can look on what expectations we were able to meet and what expectations we were able to let go of, because how wonderful is that to let go of these expectations that we're carrying for ourselves and our life and to live more fully grounded in those moments of us. And it feels like that's what a lot of work we did this December and a lot of the work we did throughout the year that's completing now. So we have this week, we have the energy of the release of the holidays and moving past that holiday energy. We have that completion factor that's happening, but yet the new year hasn't quite started. But we're looking ahead to it a little bit. We're looking ahead to that new year. We're kind of contemplating, okay, we even just when we adjust our spaces and we take down the decorations, we're looking ahead to what do we want to create in this space? How do we want it to look? How do we want it to feel moving forward? And so many of us are looking into the new year and the new energy of the new year, reflecting on what are my goals? Who do I want to be? What do we want to do? Things like that. And that's great. A lot of people are very resistant to the notion of resolutions, and a lot of people are like, I just want to be me and keep doing my thing. And that is beautiful, and we get to do that. But as we move into the new year, there also is an energy of newness, freshness, new beginnings. Each new year comes with it that notion of we're starting a new year, we're starting a new journey, we're starting a new process. And with that, there's a ton of possibilities. It's like having a blank piece of paper or a blank canvas that we then get to decorate with our intentions, our energy, our choices, our motivations, our lessons, our growth, our all of that stuff. We get to paint the canvas of this coming year with all of these things. And I feel like that notion of resolutions is falling to the wayside and people are really resistant to resolutions. And personally, I feel like sometimes resolutions are end up turning into ways we are punishing ourselves. We resolve to be this different person, so we're going to do these things that are hard and we're going to make them happen. We're going to resolve to make the hard things happen. And that's great. We get to do hard things. But what if we set down the notion of resolutions and we embrace the notions of intention? Sorry, it's windy outside and I heard something. I thought it was something coming down. I was like, no, it's just people in the other room. Um, what if we can set down the notion of resolutions and we can embrace this notion of new beginnings that the new year brings, and we can embrace the notion of what if this gets to be a clean slate and we get to refocus on creating this beautiful artwork that gets to be our life. And if that's the idea, what are your intentions for this clean slate? What are your intentions for what we get to create moving forward? And I feel like this week, in between the activity of December and the newness of January, is where we start to make that shift from that release and completion that most of December offers us and into that notion of what are our intentions for this coming. What are our intentions for this new year? What are the intentions for us as we move forward? What does that look like and feel like? And I think that's one of the most beautiful things about this time of year that we don't always give enough credit for. And I think we get to honor that. We get to try again. We get to start again. We don't need the new year to set new intentions, but it offers us the energetic support to establish some new intentions and new practices and new celebrations for ourselves. So I think as we move through this week, as we approach New Year, allow yourself to rest. Allow yourself to ground back into your day to day life. Allow yourself to find your way back to your body, in your mind, in you that you are, separate from the holidays and the end of the year. Allow yourself to anchor back into yourself. Cozy in. We don't have to get a lot done. We get to cozy in and watch the movie and have that warm cup of tea or hot cocoa curled in the blanket or read the book or take the rest. Often people end up taking time off or taking breaks within their day a little bit longer, or we have a deeper conversation with somebody that we get to connect with in our family or within our workspaces. And I think some of those soul anchoring notions help us in this process of transitioning to the new us. It's like we're caring for and nurturing ourselves again. And I really think that's a really beautiful thing. So as you finish off the last few days of 2024, and as you move into 2025, I encourage you to take a moment to connect back within yourself and reflect on who you are currently and who you get to be moving forward. Or even better, what energy gets to support who you are moving forward. So maybe it's not who you have to be, meaning that you have to change who you are to be worthy, to be loved, to find peace, to be bright, and to be abundant, whatever it is. Maybe you get to decide what energies support who you currently are as you move forward into this next year. Care for yourself through this week and allow yourself to connect with what supports who you are now and who you are as you move forward. So let's finish off this contemplation moment with a color card from the Ina Segal Secret Language of Colors card deck. And let's see what we need to know. Oh, hang on. What we need to know as we transition from 2024 into 2025 for our own personal energetic process, care, and well-being. I'm feeling the draw over here. We're going right in at the end. Oh no, second one in. There apparently is one hidden underneath. Emerald. Calm your mind, your body, and your soul. So green is a color of the heart, but it also is a color of balance. I feel like green offers a good balance of coolness and warmth between yellow and blue. I feel like the idea of this emerald drip really brings that notion of going with the flow a little bit, allowing that water to flow through us. Yet green also offers a very nature-based nurture sense. So I feel like it's a reminder that we get to find that balance within our mind, our body, and our soul right now. We get to find that middle ground, and we get to bring ourselves back into ourself. We get to find our center. When you look at this card, this drip, we're seeing the center of this drip happening. And we're seeing a lot of that action that's focused in the middle and the ripples that happen outward. Now, that usually isn't a notion we connect with, this notion of emerald color. However, as we bring ourselves in and we find that balance and that nurturing within our mind, our body, and our soul, and we find this centered energy within ourself again, there is a ripple effect that happens that flows out into our life. And this ripple effect can bring abundance and balance and nurturing back into us. So this gives us permission to nurture and find that center this week and trust that as we do, that energetic effects of that will influence our life and will ripple out to us and influences all the spaces and situations as we move forward. So we get to daydream about our intentions. We get to find that balance and that peace. And we don't necessarily have to have a lot of hard and fast rules, hard and fast goals, and hard and fast decisions that need to happen right now. Just that intention of that peace and that centered energy, allowing that decompression from the year before we move into the new year. So I hope this podcast finds you well. And if you listen to this podcast and it's not the transition week between holidays and the new year, that's okay. All of our conversations in here and all of the intentions within this podcast and the energies we talk about are finding you when they need to. So maybe you're in a space of transition and you're letting go of that release, or you're completing something within your life and you're moving forward with new intentions and new ideas into new beginnings. But first, you have to find your center and you have to find your balance and you have to go within a little bit. So there you go. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. Continue to celebrate your uniquely beautiful self and what works for you. And we'll see you in 2025.